What's going on YouTube? So one of the most exciting electric vehicles to come out recently is the Kia EV6. In addition to its sleek styling, it had plenty of range and extremely fast charging times that caught a lot of people's attention. It also was no slouch. But what enthusiasts have been waiting for is this model right here, the 576 horsepower EV6 GT. It's not only promising breakneck acceleration, but also a bunch of other performance enhancements to take on products like the Mustang Mach-E GT head-to-head. So is this the best performance electric crossover money can buy? That's what I'm here in Las Vegas today to find out. Alrighty guys, let's go ahead and get into the exterior. Now, before I start talking about the exterior, I do want to mention that Mason wasn't able to come out to this event with me, so I am going to be filming this kind of from a first-person perspective. Furthermore, there's been all different kinds of military equipment circling around us here at the Las Vegas Speedway today, so do keep in mind, I'll be talking a little bit over top of some fighter jets, perhaps. If you're wondering what's going on, we're very close to a military base. I called them and told them to stop doing that, but they didn't listen. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the exterior of this EV6 GT. So when it comes to the GT, there's not a ton of differences from the GT line that you saw earlier in the year. Up in the front, you still got that really sleek and nice look. This is part of Kia's new Opposites United design language, and it looks really, really nice. The subtle differences that you will notice from the GT line are gonna be down here in your lower fascia as well as up here. You have these vertical lines. So this is kind of a small little element that will help you distinguish that this is the highest performance version of the EV6. Of course, you got your updated logo up top there. And as we come over here to our headlights, we do have a really nice look on board. These are going to be the same as in the normal model, so you're looking at a reflector full LED setup. We do have that daytime running light and turn signal indicator going through there with that really nice look. You're not going to find fog lamps or anything like that though. But one place where you'll probably notice the biggest exterior design difference is right here at our wheels. What we have on board for GT Duty are huge 21-inch alloy wheels. As you can see, we've got this really nice looking contrast finish. You've got the gloss black inserts all throughout, and they're also going to be wrapped in special Eagle F1 performance tires. The other thing that's probably drawing your attention are the neon green brake calipers. You're going to notice the neon theme repeated all throughout the exterior as well as the interior, one of the signs that you have the GT model. And as far as the brakes themselves, they are enhanced, of course, as you would expect for the performance model. You're going to be looking at 4-piston, 15-inch front brakes. Now, as we move on from that, we do have nice gloss black finished mirrors. You'll notice we have gloss black pillars as well as several gloss black elements around the exterior design itself. And as far as the mirrors, they do have power folding, auto dimming, and built-in blind spot monitoring. Now, as I back up to the side view, this is going to be 184.5 inches long, which does put it, for reference, at about the same exact length as a Kia Sportage, and it is basically exactly the same length as well with the main rivals, the Mach-E and the Tesla Model Y. But as you can see, it does have that, continue to have that same really, really sleek look from the standard EV6. I love the black accenting that kind of swoops up and heads into the rear tail lights. Of course, this is riding on the eGMP platform, just like the regular version of the EV6. As we move around to the rear design, again, really sleek, really nice look to it. The Opposites United theme really does look very nice in this application. One of my favorite elements are the tail lights. So you've got this single piece that kind of starts over there, goes all the way across the rear and over to the other side. Looks really, really nice, especially when you see it lit up at night. Now, one of the great things about this design is that you wouldn't even know where the charge port was until you press that button to unlock it. Now that I've opened it up, you can see that it really integrates super well with the overall taillight unit and the body lines on the vehicle. And let's talk a little bit about the charging infrastructure. So that's kind of a huge thing for this model because Kia is leading the pack with their 800 volt architecture. So you'll be able to charge this with 350 kilowatt DC fast charging 10 to 80% in 18 minutes. That equates to about 68 miles of range in 5 minutes. So certainly a very, very competitive charge rate that's really, really going to help you out. As far as the battery, it is 77.4 kilowatt hours, just like with the regular model. Go ahead and close that up, and let's talk a little bit about your warranty and safety systems, of course. So with this, you do have Kia's signature 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty, 5 years and 60,000 miles of bumper-to-bumper coverage. And as far as the safety systems, Kia gives you everything with the EV6 as standard. That's going to include forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, auto high beam headlights, as well as adaptive cruise control. And then on the GT model specifically, this will also come standard with Kia's newest Highway Drive Assist 2.0, and that's the version that allows you to have automatic lane changes. But anyways, guys, that's it for the exterior, but there are a lot of changes and special details in the interior, so let's go ahead and hop inside. All right, so walking up to the EV6 GT, one of the things you'll notice is that upon approach, it knows you're coming up to it. It goes ahead and folds the mirror out and also pops out the door handle, which of course is nice and flush when you're driving for aerodynamic purposes. Now, as far as the fob itself, this is the typical Kia key fob, except it's a little bit taller. That's because you have remote start. You also have smart parking abilities here on the GT model, and then most of your other buttons are located over here on the side. Let's go ahead and take a look at that interior. Now, as you can see, just like with the exterior, we keep most of the all new and fashionable elements, but we do have some special touches for GT duty. I'll go ahead and get inside before this fighter jet ruins another shot. All right, yeah. This also gives you a little bit of a sense of the sound insulation of the vehicle, because let me tell you, it is very, very loud outside with these supersonic jets circling over us. But just like always, I do want to start things off by talking about our different interior, material, and color options. With the GT, it's going to be very simple. Kia is replacing the standard seat with the special performance-oriented bucket seat you're looking at right here. This is the only way you can get it. It's going to be black, but you have a leatherette on the outside as well as the headrest, and then the inside of it is going to be finished in a suede, and then all throughout it you're going to have the nice looking color contrast neon green, just like with the brake calipers on the exterior. Now, as far as the seats themselves, I will say they really, really hold you in place. Even when you're driving very quickly, these seats are going to hold you in place with these thick bolsters. Now, one thing to keep in mind, though, is the fact that these are manually adjusting. So unlike the other trim levels of the EV6, you actually have a manual adjusting seat here. You're also going to lose your memory seating from the GT line. Let's also talk about the general materials inside of the cabin. So over here on the armrest, we've got a suede material all through here. You got piano black finish. Your windows are going to be one-touch auto up and down for the driver and passenger only. Soft touch plastic along the top. And as we go to the upper dashboard, this does have a unique design for the GT. It's kind of like a rubber type of material. It's hard to even explain, but it has a nice feel to it. It also has a cool design with the little stripe there, and you also have GT branding. Down below, we have a nice single vent effect, some piano black trim, and then the same applies for the center tunnel. And then finally, wrapping up the design is continuing from there into this area, and a kind of direct line is a duplication of that design here on the armrest. So that's a really neat touch. Now to start it up, put your foot on the brake and press the button. So when it comes to the GT, one of the easy things to remember about this is that this is the fully loaded model. There aren't really any options or anything like that. You're going to have every feature that the EV6 has to offer. So up in the front, first and foremost, you do have that dual 12.3-inch display setup. Right there, front and center, you have a nice looking gauge cluster. It does change designs depending on which drive mode you go into. And furthermore, you do also have a really nice looking head-up display. This is the augmented reality head-up display, so it contains a ton of information. I know it's very, very difficult to see on camera, but rest assured it is very nice in person. Furthermore, you do also have the blind view camera system. Now, pulling back to the steering wheel, we've got a really unique and cool design. As you can tell, it is a two-spoke look to it. We also have the neon green stitching that runs up through here. Really great steering wheel to hold on to, nice bolsters, feels great in the hand. And then you do have the drive modes that I was mentioning earlier, readily accessible, so you can just press that without lifting your hand off the steering wheel. And then you also have the GT button, which is full of all kinds of fun. Can't wait to show you guys what is in store when you press that button. Now, as far as the wheel itself, you do have manual tilt and telescoping. It is also heated here on the top end model. Let's flip on over and take a look at our storage solutions. So opening this up, we do have plenty of storage inside of the center console. This is actually very deep, nicely felt lined as well on all the sides, and we can stick all types of wires and envelopes of things and coupons inside, no problem. We also have a really nicely sized wireless phone charging pad, and one of the things I really like about this is that no matter how fast you drive, this will stay put because of the rubber texture as well as the walls around it. And then you have just a lot of open space beyond that. As you may remember from the regular EV6, you've got a ton of open and empty space down here. We have a large bin where you can stick a bunch of different types of items, including your sunglasses and things like that. Now, as far as our shifter is concerned, we do have that rotary style shifter. There's a twist over for drive, twist the opposite way for reverse. And when you go into reverse, you'll be greeted with this 360-degree camera system. Of course, you've got both these traditional views and active trajectory, but everyone's favorite feature, you can go into this 3D drone-like view and see the entire vehicle as a whole. Really nice and high quality stuff. Then you just press the P for park, and you do also have your electronic parking brake located right there behind it. In front of the push button start, which I really like the way this button looks, and you also have ambient lighting that goes around it as well. And then you've got your 3-stage heated seats and your heated steering wheel. Now, I do want to point out that compared to some of the other trim levels of the EV6, you don't have ventilated seats. That's another one of the sacrifices you make to have these performance-oriented buckets. As we move on from that, the next place we come to are our audio and climate controls. If you didn't see any of our other Kia coverage, this is a dual setup. So all of this is basically touch capacitive. If you press this button right here, you're going to see it change from having your audio controls to instead be your climate controls, and you can just make those adjustments like so. It's a pretty unique and interesting setup. And then after you wait for just a second, it will go ahead and return back to your audio controls so that you can, make a quick adjustment to the climate and then also adjust your audio right after that. And while we're looking at these buttons, this would be an appropriate time to go ahead and sample the 14-speaker Meridian Premium audio system. Yeah, so overall sound quality of this system is quite nice, and it certainly has some good pop. All right, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the infotainment system as well. So you'll notice right now I'm in the Android Auto interface. This is going to be the wired variety, so you do have to plug in to do this. But as you can see, the screen resolution looks really, really nice, and it displays these Google Maps extremely well. I'll navigate into the actual infotainment system itself. As you can see, this is the latest Kia EVO design. You do, of course, have some additional functions, like here on your home screen, you've got kind of a splash display that tells you your current battery status. I don't really know why that kind of looks like the Ioniq 5 more than the EV6, but nevertheless, you do also have your EV mode, so you can get more detailed information inside of there. Navigation is also going to be built into the system as well. Now, rising above that, we do have an auto-dimming mirror, 3 HomeLink universal remotes, and then up top, you'll find a standard size sunroof. This is not going to be a full panoramic, as you can tell, but one of the big things I like about this is the fact that this can open. As you might know, a lot of EVs are going for the fixed panoramic sunroof option. I do like that Kia is giving you the ability to open it up and let in some nice outside air. All right, so we checked out the front seats. Let's go ahead and check out the back seats, because even though it is performance oriented, of course, this does also have to function as a family crossover. Let's go ahead and climb inside and put it to the test here. All right, so first impressions in the back seat are quite positive. We do have plenty of space. As a matter of fact, we have 38 inches of legroom and 39 inches of headroom. This is adjusted to my driving position. I am 5'8", and as you can see, this is just enormous amount of space. We have like at least 1.5 feet of space between my knee and the seat back. My feet can't really go underneath the seat very well, so it's a little tighter in that regard. But I'm also really digging the fact that we have the completely flat floor here. So you can use that, of course, for storage. And if you're in the center, like the center occupant, you don't have to do that big spread like you do in some other vehicles. Now, as far as some of the amenities, we do have rear vents. They're going to be located over here in the pillar itself. The door trim's finished the same way as in the front, so you have a lot of suede. It is going to be hard touch on the upper part, though. And then down below, you do have your window controls. And we also have 2-stage heated seats. Those are going to be standard on the GT model. Coming over to the middle, this is where you'll find 2 charging USB ports. Now, the seats in the back are just the same as in the front. Of course, they don't have the same kind of bolstering, but you do still have the suede in the center to hold you in place. And then you also have your fold down center armrest. And let's go ahead and check out the cargo area as well. The button to open it up is located over here to the right of the backup camera. Of course, you do have hands-free opening as well. And once inside, you're going to see a pretty nice amount of space. This is going to be 24.4 cubic feet with the seats in place, 50.2 cubic feet with the seats folded. Now, if you're keeping count, that is going to be about 10 cubic feet less than something like a Mustang Mach-E. You can tell that actually by looking at it, because this vehicle has such a sleek design. It does kind of intrude a little bit into the cargo area. But that being said, this is still a very useful amount of space, especially if you fold those seats down. You're going to be able to carry pretty long objects. Another thing I really like is the fact that we have handles back here to fold the seats, so you don't have to go up to the front. You can just go ahead and grab them straight from back here and get that full 50.2 cubic feet. Very nice. Of course, I've got all my camera gear in here very easily. We also have a little bit more storage underneath the floor as well. Now, when it comes to the passenger seat, it is also manually adjusting, just like the driver. Come up here and take a look at our visor. Nice and large, does have a mirror and a separated light. You can detach it and extend it as well. And let's drop down and take a look at our glove box. Now, this is one of the more interesting elements because it has a very unique design. As you can see, it's not that wide, but it's very deep. It goes back a super long way. You can actually fit this entire Monroney completely side by side all the way back. You also have like this little shelf thing that sets on the door itself. It's a very unique setup, but very practical overall. And lastly, you're probably wondering, does this have a frunk? Indeed it does, if in name only, because it's not exactly the most practical amount of space. As you can tell, you'd have a hard time fitting really anything in here at all. Maybe a little stack of coupons could fit in here if you want to get out of your vehicle, pull them out and pay for something at a fast food restaurant. But otherwise, not much storage in that frunk. But since I've got the hood open, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what is under the hood. Now, under the hood, despite the fact that this actually does look like an engine cover, of course, the full electric EV6 does not have a traditional engine. What it does have is a really powerful and really upgraded dual electric motor setup. So compared to the normal GT line, we have significantly enhanced front and rear electric motors. Together, they're going to produce 576 horsepower and 545 pound-feet of torque. That's going to be good for a 0 to 60 of only 3.4 seconds. So that is a huge improvement over the standard 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds with the GT line dual motor all-wheel drive. You do also have a limited slip diff to put that power down. And you have a lot of performance enhancements when it comes to other elements of the vehicle as well. So you do have a stiffened chassis. You also have a quicker steering ratio. The battery pack itself is going to be 74.4 kilowatt hours, exactly the same as the other models. And as you might be thinking, that is going to indeed impact the range because you have all that additional performance with the same size battery. So you're going to be looking at 206 miles of range, which is a good deal below its main competition, such as the Mach-E GT Performance and especially the Model Y Performance, which has 303 miles of range. Now at this point, you guys know the drill. We want to give you guys content as soon as possible. But that being said, we are under a driving impressions embargo. So as much as I want to take this out for a spin and show you guys all the performance, we're gonna have to wait just a little while. Actually, just a matter of a few days, we will have a video live with all the full performance of this vehicle out on the road. So you're not gonna wanna miss this because of course, this is the performance version of the EV6 and it is designed to put a smile on your face. So be sure to stay tuned and see if it does. And last but certainly not least, I do wanna mention the pricing. The MSRP of this is going to be $61,400 before destination, which is about $4,000 more expensive than a GT line model. So if you ask me, that's probably a pretty decent price for the performance enhancements that you are getting with this GT model. Well guys, thanks so much for joining us for this in-depth review of the all-new 2023 Kia EV6 GT. This has been a very exciting video to make, and if you enjoyed watching, make sure to go down below and click subscribe. When you click subscribe, that's how we get to come to events like this and get hands-on experience with all the latest products and put them on our channel for you guys to check out. So make sure you go down below and do us a favor and click subscribe. Also, we'd appreciate it if you follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.